chair. Outside of ASG, I'm in SCAP. I'm the Families for Justice Program Coordinator. So I'm planning Slot Walk. Better see you all there in April. And I'm in the research lab. I'm a Hackworth Fellow. And then for fun, I like to play with my dog. I like to go outside. I recently started doing like martial arts, so that's been interesting, but like really cool. And yeah, that's me, I guess.
Alright, cool. Thank you for all this information. By the way, I'll be typing during this because I'm stalkery and collecting all your information in my Google Doc. So, next up is Herb.
Hi, my name is Herb. I'm the chair of SAC and ASG. I'm also a sophomore senator. Outside of ASG, I'm a CS student, class of 26, and play a lot of tennis, play a lot of video games, and yeah, looking forward to working with you all.
Nice. Next up is Gabby.
Hi everyone, I'm Gabby. I'm a junior senator. I'm part of the UEO committee. Outside of ASG, I enjoy reading a lot, and I can't wait to meet y'all.
Nice. Next up is Nash.
Hi everyone, I'm Nash. I'm the parliamentarian here at ASG. Outside of ASG, I'm a junior, I'm an environmental major, and I'm from New York City.
Next up is Tay.
I'm Tay. This is Keystone. I'm a psych major and a second year senior. I'm a violence prevention educator in the Wellness Center. I'm admin on the Disabled Students Union Executive Board. I'm on the LGBTQ plus equity, justice, and belonging task force, basic needs community task force, and I also am in the social cognition and comparison
Next up is Grace.
Hi everyone, my name is Grace. I am Senator at Large for LGBTQ inclusion. I am a senior, double majors in political science and philosophy. My minor is in gender and sexuality studies. Other things worth noting, I'm a Midwesterner at heart. I'm a terrible cook, but I give it a lot of energy and I try really hard. I like hiking a lot. I used to box, and sometimes I still like to do when I have time. And I'm awesome at karaoke, so yeah.
Someone might have to take you up on that during retreat.
I accept challenge, I accept challenge.
It's on.
Yeah.
Next up is Liv.
Hi guys, I'm Liv. I'm Senator at Large for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Outside of ASG, I'm part of, well, I'm a chem major and an ethnic studies minor, so I'm in a chem research lab. I'm from Boston, so I'm a diehard Celtics fan. I will not change my mind. And I love music, so whenever I'm bored, I just start learning an instrument.
Next up is Amrita.
Hi everyone, I'm Amrita. I'm a sophomore poli-sci major. I literally change my minor like every other day. Not even kidding. Sorry people in the office there. So yeah, still figuring that out. I'm senator at large for socioeconomic justice and cultural sustainability, and I'm also chair for the campus engagement committee. I'm also on campus. I'm involved with multicultural center staff as the advocacy coordinator. I'm on Anti-Nation board as events coordinator. Guys, come to Valley on November 8th. Oh my God, retreat. Okay, it's another issue I got to figure out. And then I'm also involved with the Basic Needs Committee, and I'm in the process of actually starting research with a professor at the education school here about like BIPOC and disability rights within education. So super excited about that. Guys, if you ever want to get boba, like OMGT, I'm down anytime. So please, like, if you want to walk with me there, like, please text me. Yeah.
Good to know. Next up is Allison.
Allison. I'm a sophomore business major, probably looking to finance right now. I'm undeclared. I'm from San Jose, California, so I'm really local. And outside of currently I'm a sophomore senator, and outside of ASG, I am VP of Special Events for Women Investment here. And I'm also a TA for Business 70, which is a contemporary issues course, where I've been able to help people with their spikes, which is really fun. And that's all I'm here. I love to eat, so really down to eat anywhere, really big foodie. And yeah, also really down to go Bobo anytime.
Next up is Carmen.
Hi all, I'm Carmen. I'm a sophomore. I'm majoring in mechanical engineering, planning to minor in aerospace. Let's see, I'm a sophomore. I'm the senator at large for athletic relations. I'm also in the student affairs committee led by Irvir. And then I'm also in the academic affairs policy committee. And outside of ASG, I'm on the rowing team here. And yeah, I don't know.
Next up is Charlie.
Hi, I'm Charlie. I am Senator at Large for Greek Life Relations. I'm a junior. I'm from San Diego, and I'm a philosophy major, Italian minor. Outside of ASG, I'm a peer educator for Italian, and I like hanging out with my friends, watching movies, listening to music, and skateboarding.
Next up is Mercedes.
Hi, I'm Mercedes. I'm the Senator at Large for Student Safety. I'm a finance major, minoring in economics and Spanish. I'm also on the Student Affairs Committee. Outside of ASG, I'm the VP of Finance for my sorority. And in my free time, I like to hang out and listen to it and watch TV.
Okay, here right now. Next up is me, I guess. Hello. To anyone who does not know me, I am the parliamentarian. That's so funny. I'm not the parliamentarian. I'm not coming after Nash's job. Nor will I. Yes. I am pro temp, meaning I basically do all the meeting minutes, which hopefully a lot of you read. In case I get your name wrong or misattribute anything to anyone. I am a sophomore neuroscience major, questioning minoring in something else. Outside of ASG, I am part of just a member of the commuter student union. So, because I drive to campus, hit me up if you have any questions, want to compare traffic for whatever reason, because it's horrible. And I also work at an autism center. Next up is Arne.
Hi everyone, my name is Arne. I'm a CS major with a math minor. Here at ASG, I am a senator at large for international commuter and transfer students. I'm also part of staff. Outside ASG for fun, I like to play basketball, play guitar, sing, cook, and I just picked up a photography course, which I'm very excited about.
Is there a possible karaoke showdown?
Like this, ASU karaoke
I don't think I'll do it.
Yeah, you need to form a competitive team.
Just like go out there and dominate.
ASU, hell,
Five.
Last but not least is Tara.
Hi guys, I'm Tara.
pause to acknowledge that Santa Clara University sits on the land of the Ohlone and Muwekma Ohlone people, who trace their ancestry through the Missions Dolores, Santa Clara, and San Jose. We remember their connection to this region and give thanks for the opportunity to live, work, learn, and pray on their traditional homeland. Let us take a moment of silence to pay respect to their elders and to all Ohlone people of the past and present.
Be seated. Moving on to the approval of the previous minutes.
Motion to approve the
Second.
previous minutes.
Motion from Tara, second from Grace. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Previous minutes are approved. Moving on to public comment. Do we have any public comment today? Okay. In that case, I'll invite our guest to tell us what you're here for. You can stand, you can do whatever.
I'll stand because I'm short. So I'm Father Matt Carnes. I'm the Vice President for Mission and Ministry here at Santa Clara. I just arrived here recently from Georgetown University, where I was a professor for 15 years. I grew up in this area. I'm thinking about the role introductions you all just did. So I grew up in this area. Went to public schools, entered the Jesuits a long time ago, but actually did some of my studies here at Santa Clara. Lived over in Walsh McLaughlin when that was once two separate buildings. In Unity when I was doing my doctorate, and then been on the board of trustees the last 11 years. Fun facts, two bands, to give you two wildly different things that I listen to a lot. So old school, Nick Cave, Nevada Seas. New school, Big Thief. If you know who Big Thief is, you know you know. And then finally, great novel recommendation, Richard Powers' new book, Playground. It just came out. It's going to get all the prizes this year, definitely. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Oh, my goodness. Wow. I'm Molly McDonald, and I'm Chief of Staff in the President's Office. I, too, grew up around here. I'm a Lancer, St. Francis High School. I went to LMU undergrad and a law school here. And I have been at Santa Clara since 2003. Don't have any music recommendations. So that's not going to help. So I'm budgeted the novel recommendation already. And I'm just delighted to be here and so impressed with everything that you're all doing. I don't know when you sleep. But thank you for having us.
And so we are here today at Claire's invitation to tell you about the Opus Prize. Okay, so the Opus Prize, and you started to maybe see a little bit of invitation stuff you have there on your hands, some paperwork and some stickers, because we were told by Claire and others that students like stickers. I like stickers too. I have one on my water bottle and everything, so pretty cool. So the Opus Prize is a big deal for Santa Clara. So this has been around for 20 years. It's a program where some big-time donors give some money to support unsung heroes, leaders who are faith-based, faith-inspired, and do work in the community, in various communities around the globe, that is in social entrepreneurship, social change, social justice, these kinds of issues. So every time when they choose the people they're going to give the money to, is it saying, oh, it's right behind me? Oh, it tells me right there. The Opus Prize chooses a university to partner with. It's always a Catholic university. It was a big deal that Santa Clara got it this year. And Santa Clara has had the chance to work with the Opus organization in identifying these kinds of change makers from around the globe. Some of our students got to go and travel and see some of the different sites in which these organizations work. And in November, in just a couple weeks, we're going to have the 3 top finalists come to campus. We'll get to meet with them, interact with them, and at the end there will be a prize where they get a celebration where one of them will get $1 million to go towards their organization, and the other 2 will each get $100,000 to go to their organization. And all of these are really grassroots, and they're at that stage where they could scale, and like this could make a real difference for them. If any of you have ever heard of like Homeboy Industries down in Los Angeles, they were a finalist for this a few years ago. So it gives you an idea like what kinds of organizations these are. Now, I came in, like I said, just a couple months ago, when most of the work had already been done. Molly led the team that actually got most of it done. So Molly, do you want to say a little bit more about like how we got to this point, and maybe tell us about the three finalists?
Sure, I can, and we can, that's perfect. Thank
Yeah.
you. So we have a committee, and Tara is on our committee, Sarah is on our committee, we have Matthew Duncan is on our committee, he's here as well. We've got 33 folks, and basically we started meeting a year ago, a little over a year ago, and you may have heard of rumblings about it back then. And basically what our committee was charged with doing was working with folks that would identify who these unsung heroes are all around the world. And one of them has to be from the United States, one of the 3 finalists, but otherwise it's all around the world. And so we identified, our committee identified 25 folks that went out and nominated people. And it was a pretty substantial work for them because they had to put together a packet of 12 pages about why these people would be deserving of such an award. And then our committee got 25, we received 25 or 26 of those, and we narrowed it down to 11. That was a big, big job. And then we took those 11 and we gave them to a group that the foundation called jurors. These are distinguished members of the community. Father Greg Boyle was one of ours. Leon Panetta was a juror. And President Sullivan met with them for a day, and they narrowed it down to 3. So those 3 folks are, here are 3 finalists. The Albus, who are Jesuit Refugee Services in Romania. Father Presetti from Thrive for Life Prison in New York. That's our United States person. And Sister Ngozi Uti from Nigeria, and she is with the Center for Women's Studies and Intervention. And all of them, well, at least these 2, Father Zach and the sister, created this. They created their organizations, and the Albus grew theirs immensely. So the next step in the process, many of you may have heard of these ambassadors that were selected. We had close to 70 folks apply, and 5 faculty, staff, and students, 2 students for each group, went and visited the finalists and gave an evaluation of their work and what they're doing and their impact to the foundation, and then the foundation will select 1. Now, I will say that unfortunately at the 11th hour, the folks, and Tara was one of them, who were to go to Nigeria, we had, for safety reasons, to spend that trip. And it was a Zoom opportunity to get to meet Sister and some of the other folks, but I still think it was a wonderful experience. And if you talk to any of the students, if you have an opportunity to talk to any student, or faculty or staff that was an ambassador, I would highly encourage you to do so. Speaking to them, hearing their stories, these really were transformational experiences for them, folks they got to visit and to experience firsthand what the finalists are actually doing. So does that get us to where we are on that? Okay. You want me to just keep going?
Sure.
So the big thing we wanted to do today is kind of share with you a little bit about the schedule and then ask for your help. So the finalists will arrive the 9th and the 10th of November, and our Opus Prize Week is from Monday the 11th through Thursday the 14th. And they're showing up on the Sunday the 10th. We're gonna have them have dinner with the ambassadors. So these are familiar and friendly faces. So they'll have dinner and possibly attend the liturgy that night, your division. On Monday morning, they're gonna have a campus tour. They're gonna have lunch with the oversight committee, and then they're gonna do various classroom visits. They will have a total of 11 classroom visits throughout the entire time they're here. So every single day they've got a classroom visit. Sometimes all 3 of them together. Sometimes they're individual classroom visits, and everything from the law school to religious studies to political science to JST, English, just a ton of kind of rich courses. There will be an art display that students and faculty and staff have submitted artwork, and that will be on display in the Learning Commons. And then we are hoping to have a meet and greet with students on Monday afternoon, and then that night they will have dinner with President Sullivan. Tuesday morning they get up, they come to campus, and Mission and Ministry is hosting a coffee and conversation with donuts with students and the finalists. And then they will have a lunch panel. It's called, and the title is "A Search for What Matters." And this is a series we have done for years and years and years out of the Nation Center, and it's faculty and staff. And what it is it's you answer the question, what matters to me and why. And it's a very popular series among our faculty and staff. We're doing it a little bit different this time because we have 3 Matt is going to be the moderator of that panel. So that'll be held here. You are all invited to that. If you can attend, that would be wonderful. And then they're going to head up to JST, and they are going to have classroom visits, a liturgy, a dinner, and then some programming after dinner. Wednesday, they come back and do some more classroom visits, and then Miller Center Action Research with a Mission, they have where their social entrepreneur students showcase their work. That is on Wednesday afternoon. Finalists are going to participate in that, and there is a reception after. Once again, you are all invited to that, and you'll see on the website, we're going to have all of this information as well. Then we'll have a prayer service. They'll have dinner with the Jesuit community, go home for the night, show up the next day, do more classroom visits, and they'll have a visit with the global engagement team, and then another moderated panel that'll be held here, which is really going to focus on their work. And I think that's going to be a really exciting panel, so if any of you are available to come, we'd love for you to come to that as well. And then the big event is at 4 o'clock that afternoon, which is the ceremony. It's at 4 o'clock, it's in Mayer Theater, and there is a reception to follow. And then they will have dinner, and then they will be on their way. So it's a very, very busy week for them, but I think it's going to be an exciting week. And two things. One is we would love for you to encourage folks to attend the ceremony. I mean, we'd love for you to attend everything, but the ceremonies we're really trying to drive folks. Part of, as Matt said, part of this is not only awarding the laureate, but it's also inspiring, especially students. Faculty and staff as well, but the primary goal, that's why they do it at an institution of higher learning, is the goal is to inspire students. So anything that you can do to get the word out, any ideas that you have for us on how to get the word out, we're working with Claire and whatnot, but we have 3 weeks, and we would love to get as many students as can.
And maybe just to put like an exclamation point on that, it's such a great opportunity for us to get to know these change makers. And if you think about it, like if a number of you nod your head when I mentioned Father Greg Boyle before, right? Imagine if you got to meet him before you became famous. Like these people 5 years from now, everybody may be using their names, so it's like your chance to interact with them at a really close level. That's why we have like coffee and donuts. That's why we have the various lunches. We'd love to have you in the room for those things. And it's also, it's this weird sort of and great opportunity for us to elevate them, make them more aware, and people, more of the world more aware about who they are, but also for us to elevate what Santa Clara is, and for them to take back to their home places. Wow, Santa Clara is a place that's interested in this, that engages these kinds of questions, that wants to make this kind of change. So I think there's a great reciprocal relationship there that'll be a lot of fun for all of you. I don't want to put you on the spot, but Tara, would you say just a tiny bit about your interaction because you're a part of this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was on Zoom, so I was a little bit heartbroken when I found that out, but you know, obviously for certain reasons. But the whole interaction was still amazing. She had amazing things to talk about how she started and everything. I don't want to like spoil it too much because I want everyone to go and meet her, and obviously the other ambassadors for the other finalists. They're amazing, but it's just like it was a very eye-opening, even though it was on the computer. Like it was still very just like the things that these people are doing are just absolutely amazing. So like this week is an amazing opportunity for everyone to just learn more about what people are doing around the world and just to meet these amazing people. So again, I don't want to say too much because I think you guys should talk to her yourself.
Well, and I have said this, they were so tired of hearing me say this, but if you talk to folks that visited with Sister, they say, oh, she absolutely has to be the one who gets a laureate. And then if you talk to the folks who met with Father Zach, they're like, oh, for sure, he's the guy who's got to get it. And then the same with Romania. So I think that really did impact all those ambassadors that had the opportunity to interact. The only thing we would ask is if you could encourage folks just to register for the events, just so that we make sure that if we need to change a venue, knowing how many people are going to be there is really, really helpful. Or for sure for the reception, we want to make sure we have enough for our folks. So any questions or?
Is registration on the website?
Yes, it is. So it's on there's a link for the ceremony here, and then also the QR code on any of that stuff we passed out. But yes, it's on the website. Thank you. Great question.
And I do like recap emails, and I'll include the links on it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
no,
fantastic.
of course.
And if there's anything you need from us or that we can do, please don't hesitate to reach out anytime. We just appreciate being here.
For the panel, is there a way we can send it maybe questions or?
Oh my gosh, if you send it to me, we'll make sure we put it in.
Okay.
Yeah, either of us, either one, we'll make sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you so
that's great, yeah, great question. And one fun thing, we were just looking at the comms plan, you will see like a week or two before, this campus is just gonna be covered with stuff about, Opus Week, so it's gonna be really good.
Do you have time for other questions?
Oh, sure.
If I could just say one other thing, unrelated. So I just started here as VP Permission. And I just want you to know that anything we can do to partner with ASG, we want to do. Okay, and that's both in the Aviation Center, it's with the Aruba placements, it's with community engaged student learning, it's with campus ministry. Any way that we can be a partner to you, please let me know. And I'd come back 1,000 times if you want me to talk about any specific thing or send members of my team. So please know I really do want to work with that.
Is there a question over there?
Go ahead, please.
For the both of you, what is the best way to reach out to you if we ever want to like schedule time to talk? Like, do you have like assistants we should be emailing, email you all directly? Like, what would be the best way to keep in communication moving forward?
So you can email me directly. It's funny, so I was just this week, I started getting, because I love working with students, and that was a big part of my time at Georgetown. I'm not teaching here yet, but I will teach eventually here. But I actually just put into my calendar student office hours this week, and I'm going to get my, one of my assistants is going to give me a QR code that I can give out, and you can just go straight to it. But it's like a calendar, it's like one of the Google things where it has slots on it. So I'd love to meet with any of you who want to talk.
And you know me, just shoot me an email.
Yeah, I'm awesome.
I love it. I love meeting with students, so just send me an email.
And actually, that reminds me, you mentioned there was a program called ASG Buddies, is that right?
There has been in the past.
And,
Two of my buddies are here.
and you would be eager to have buddies this year if you go ahead with that program. So just,
That's right.
It's coming your way, yes?
Yeah, working on it right now.
Airtime
I love it,
Motors.
awesome, okay.
So be on the lookout.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Guys, definitely be sure to interact with them.
Thank you for driving.
It's really, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for Santa Clara, so the fact that we're here while this is happening is like super rare. So yeah, definitely take advantage of it. It's totally worth it. Okay, next we're gonna do Step Day, which is basically a new thing that was passed last spring. I'll start that meeting right now. But it's so that, basically, I invited a couple past members of ASG to come, of Senate specifically, to come. STEP stands for Senate Transition Exchange Program. So the point is basically to get past senators in here to like just talk about the projects that they worked on and like suggest, areas that you guys might be interested in, and everything like that. So, yeah. Sophia and Jenny, you guys can come up, and then I think.
Hello. Hi, it's Theo.
I don't know how to get it connected to the other phone.
Can you hear us? Maybe use the video thing, right?
I can hear.
Hi, Theo.
With the video output? Put the arrow.
Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear a little.
Can you make it louder too?
Oh, yeah. Wait.
Hey,
what's up? Room camera? Does that work? Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Oh, better.
Hi, Theo.
Hello, how is everyone?
Fantastic. Okay, we can just, like however you guys want to do it.
Do you want us to sit down?
Yeah, sure, yeah, sit. Okay, so we can just, Sophia, you want to start?
Yeah.
Okay, just talk a little bit about like what you worked on when you were in Senate.
Sure.
Yeah.
Briefly intro, my name is Zafir. I just graduated in June. I'm still here taking classes for a second bachelor's degree. I was in ASG since the end of my freshman year all the way through my senior year. I work mainly for athletics, so my position was Center at Large for athletic relations. So a lot of it was working with students who are student athletes, but also working behind the scenes with like the marketing team for athletics or whatnot. I guess a couple of other things that I worked on aside from athletics was dining. I was on the dining advisory committee as well as the dining advisory board. So I established permanent halal options. We dedicated a whole new station to cover the 9 major allergens that exist. Other than that, we worked on food insecurity stuff, so expanding the number of dining plan options that are present so that people are not necessarily wasting their points, and if so, if they do have points left over, they're able to transfer it to their friends. So that's, I guess, just a high-level overview.
Hi guys, nice to see you, or nice to meet you, if I haven't met you before. My name's Jenna. I like Zafir, graduated in June, and also like Zafir, I'm still taking classes here. I'm actually pursuing my master's, so it's online, so I don't come in person, but still technically a Bronco. I was in ASG for 4 years. I started as a first-year senator back in October 2020, did the whole campaigning online, and there was a whole 2 of us running for first-year senator, so was able to secure that position, and then worked on some projects within that of just like a whole like Get Connected campaign to try to get people involved on campus when everything was online. And then loved ASG, so I decided to run again for sophomore senator, and then actually served as the SAC chair my sophomore year. That was a really great experience, just getting to understand the back end of how RSOs receive resources and many of the funding issues that Santa Clara experiences. I think that position really opened my eyes to kind of a lot of those issues that I think are still some of them are still present here today, but a lot of them actually have been figured out, which is really great. And then in my junior year, I served as the VP with Kevin Ham. Some of you may know him. He was the president. And we worked really, one of the main focuses within our platform was on university governance committees and getting seats for students on those committees. So some of you may not be aware, our university has some higher level committees that are primarily made up of different admin members, and these committees make a lot of the really big decisions that happen on campus. So, you know, you get those big emails in your inbox about some crazy decision that was made, you're like, how did this happen? And a lot of times university committees are the ones that make those decisions. So Kevin and I really pushed for more students to be in those groups, helping kind of guide those decisions to be geared towards the students, if that makes sense, to help benefit them. And then in my final year, I actually served as VP again, so that was kind of a little bit different. I'm happy to talk with people about that if any of you are interested in kind of like my trajectory and why I decided to do that. But yeah, I think especially in my senior year, I really tried to focus on serving as kind of a more like back-end role, trying to provide historical context to people. Just being there for 4 years, it became clear that I think that there's a really big knowledge gap when you initially come into ASG, so trying to provide those resources and the support to anyone who wanted that context and any help that they might necessarily need. But yeah, so I've had lots of experience in ASG, so happy to answer any questions. Yeah.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So my name's Theo. I graduated in 2023. So I've been out of college like a little bit over a year now. I spent the last year sitting for taking the LSAT. So if anyone has questions about the LSAT, I'm happy to answer those. And now I'm currently interning in DC with Congresswoman Gluesenkamp Perez from Washington. So it's just a little bit about me after graduating. In terms of like my ASG related activities, I came to Santa Clara in 2019 and then graduated in 2023. So I was at Santa Clara before COVID, during COVID, through COVID, after COVID. And so I kind of, a lot of my work on ASG, I was kind of looking at like projects I had stuff I had done before joining this Zoom. And a lot of it was kind of geared towards navigating the pandemic and then also navigating like the return back to campus following the pandemic. So one thing that we had done before the pandemic had occurred was the Hyundai Challenge. So that was a big thing during my freshman year. That kind of was ASG-wide. Everybody was really involved with it. And it was this challenge that Hyundai had done with Santa Clara, LMU, and another university, I can't remember. But we ended up winning the challenge by getting a lot of involvement from students, and that secured funding for water fountain stations and other things. And then I served on a lot of like kind of advisory committees within ASG. During the pandemic, I helped with academic lenience policies, so I helped make sure that those were put in place for students navigating, just like doing school online and like all the challenges that come along with that. I also helped with our mental health task force as we returned back to campus and kind of like reviewing CAPS and all of the services that were going along with that. And coming up with recommendations that CAP should try and implement to just make it a more well-rounded and robust service for students. The first 2 years I was in ASG, I served as class senator, and then the second 2 years that I was in ASG, I served as LGBT senator for inclusion. And then I also served as the chair of the Committee for Social Change during my senior year. So I was involved all 4 years as the senator for LGBT inclusion. One of the things that I kind of wanted to accomplish during my time was putting together a task force in a place for like all the different components of like the LGBT community at Santa Clara, like getting a place where everybody could kind of come together and talk about issues. And so I really tried to work with like the various clubs on campus and like their chairs and getting like conversations started to kind of just help the overall community and kind of have a space where like all of these different student leaders can actually come together to address issues. And then I also served on the election committee my senior year. So it's just a little bit, kind of most of what I did during my time on ESG.
So as you guys can see, it's like a pretty, I would say, wide variety of like what you can work on and study. Yeah, I would say pretty much any issue that you identify, tackle it, and there's resources and people that you can talk to who have like maybe worked on it before. I think another question I have is like, for each of you, what would you say are like some of the main issues that you see at Santa Clara that could be addressed through ASG, like specifically said?
I think, just like you said, anything from dining to housing to RSO stuff. So if you guys are part of any clubs and you have issues with the funding process or reimbursement is a huge one. Every cornerstone of your college experience here at Santa Clara can be better. And that's just a reality of going to a university anywhere, and a lot of times universities are run like businesses, and that's where the issues come because students' needs and priorities aren't necessarily the priorities of the individuals who are making decisions for us at a very high level. So part of that is representation. So Jenna was talking about how she worked a lot in terms of getting representation for students at these high-level policy committees. That's really important. But just in terms of starting new projects, I'd say take anything that you guys are passionate about and find the right people to connect with. A lot of it is administration, maybe it's faculty, it's departments. There's a ton of resources. TED is an amazing resource, wealth of knowledge. So if you don't have any idea, or you're not really sure about how to go about starting your project on a particular issue, I would consult with Ted, Sarah, Eric, Ryan. Like a lot of the people who've been here for a little bit would definitely be able to help you.
I guess I'll piggyback off of Zafir. The reason why I hesitated answering that question is because I think the unique thing about specifically Senate roles is how broad it is and how you can kind of take that position in any direction that you want. And I think that each of you should use that to your advantage. And obviously some of you might be senators at large for a specific cause, which I think is incredibly important, but I also think you have the ability to kind of work on any project that you see fit for you, and what you're passionate about. I think keep your ears open too, as you're obviously interacting with friends, even just peers, like in classes, constituents. People have things that they feel strongly about in terms of like issues at the university, and I think the more that you listen to the student body, the more that you can kind of understand, you know, you have a seat at this table and you have the power to talk to different people, whether it be someone, you know, in faculty senate or in administration. Like, there's probably someone out there that can help you with your issue, that you hear from someone in the student body that's talking about, you know, I know there was like the laundry machine, you know, costing too much money to run, the washer, like those types of issues, I think, are things that are day-to-day, a lot of things that the students experience, and a lot of admin and faculty staff don't necessarily know about. And so I think we as students who are interacting with those people can keep our ears and eyes open and understand, like, we are the ones that are representing their voices. So, I mean, I think overall there are definitely issues regarding, like I mentioned earlier, like funding, I think is a big issue. So if you have a passion there, I think gearing to maybe like your committee as well can also be helpful. So whichever committee you're on in Senate, you can kind of see some of the past projects that your committee has worked on and what's relevant to that committee too. I think that also can help kind of guide you as you're trying to start working on projects, to just get inspiration, and also talking to older members as well. You absolutely do not have to pursue projects by yourself. You can work on them with other people. I know that that might be kind of a easier way to get started on a project, especially if that other person may have worked on projects already in ASG. I think that that's a really good way to kind of get your feet wet a little bit.
You know, I mean, in terms of just like issues at Santa Clara, it's like it's very like time specific. So, you know, I haven't been there since 2023, and so it's, you know, I don't know what like issues are kind of like affecting the students right now, and those things kind of change quarter to quarter in situations like when those arise. And so I think a key like part about trying to do your job well is trying to get like an accurate pulse of what is going on around campus. And so I think one thing that I noticed like throughout my 4 years is how important it is to actually listen to all different types of students. Oftentimes there's like groups that are left out of the conversation and might not be in like some sort of student leadership position. But there's a lot of students who are in those positions. And so just trying to do your best to really get an accurate pulse of how students are feeling about different things that are arising, and what you can kind of do to help address those needs and concerns. And so I would say that's definitely just something that ASG can always do and will probably always need to continue to do, just to like kind of better serve students. And again, like that is the same regardless of what issues might arise, like any given quarter or any given academic year.
I think the last question I have, and then I'll like open it up to everyone, but what is like a piece of advice that you have for senators?
I'd say balance. Balance is key in any aspect of your life, and no different to ASG. What that looks like is making sure that you're taking care of your own mental health and not overloading in terms of projects. So I know a lot of you guys are very involved and have lots of connections, which is awesome. But make sure you're taking on a healthy amount of projects. So if that's 2 to 3 for a specific quarter, that's completely fine. If that's 6 to 10 for a specific quarter, awesome, right? It's going to be different for everyone. So know what works for you and what doesn't. But more importantly, also on the other side, respect the position, right? I think Jen and I would agree that we've seen people go through ASG, do absolutely nothing, and get reelected. And I mean, ultimately, it's just like a college experience. You're going to get out of ASG whatever you put in. So the more you put in, whatever you're able to, that's what you will get out. So in terms of respect the position, if you feel like you're not making it to meetings or you're not able to do the things that your position has outlined for you, that's completely fine. Put yourself first, take yourself out of that position, and do whatever you need to get yourself right. Because at the end of the day, there are other people there that would kill to have your position. who want to be involved, who want to be representative, advocating for individuals, and just purely do not have a platform. The number one biggest, privilege that you guys have sitting at this table is your connections because of your platform. You're attached to ASG, people will give you more respect. It's so much harder to reach administration and get meetings with them or for them to take you seriously if you don't have that label attached to you guys, if that makes sense. So definitely take care of yourselves, but respect the position as well.
I agree. I would say something that I definitely learned over the course of my 4 years is how quickly every single year goes by. I think you look at your term in October, for example, and you're like, I have this role until April of next year. You know, I have plenty of time to work on projects. That is absolutely true, but I do believe that that time kind of goes by quicker than you might think. And a lot of times people don't get as much done as they might have hoped in the beginning of their role. And so with that, I would suggest, and this is relevant to everyone in the room, not just senators, but in the beginning of each quarter, coming up with at least 1 or 2 main goals that you're looking to achieve in the quarter, and then coming up with simple steps as to how you're going to achieve those goals. I think this is a really good way to kind of hold yourself accountable as well, especially as senators. There's not really a to-do list of what you have to do each and every day. You kind of create that for yourself, and I think within that, that's very unique to senators. And honestly, not really something that you'll experience in many roles in your life. A lot of times you usually kind of have like certain responsibilities, and I think as senators, you're kind of just asked to represent your class or represent your cause if you're a senator at large. So really look to kind of come up with that to-do list for yourself and think through what you want to achieve by the end of the year, by the end of the quarter, and come up with smaller steps as to how you're going to achieve them so that you don't waste any time, because as long as April may seem far away, like it comes by so much quicker than you think it will.
I would say, I kind of have 2 pieces of advice. First, one thing like I kind of noticed during my time in ASG is that there tends to be a lot of projects where like, you know, somebody might put on an event and it's like, that's obviously like, you know, seen and it's like, okay, I just put on this event. But there's also a lot of work that kind of goes on in the background or maybe is a little bit less noticed. And I think a lot of that work can also be like just as crucial, if not more crucial, to just like the overall functioning of ASG. And so I would definitely say a piece of advice is to not get discouraged by feeling like you might not be like accomplishing something grand just because it's not as like noticeable. A lot of like key work does go in meetings and just like hearing from different people and connecting people with other people that might know what resources they need for a certain project. So I definitely say like don't get discouraged and keep on like trying to do the most that you can reasonably do. My second piece of advice I would say is probably to just reach out to your resources and to people. There's so many people on campus who are very eager and willing to help and have a breadth of knowledge that they're wanting to share with you. And a lot of the times you reach out to them, you're going to get a lot of the answers that you need. And so I would say whether it's like your committee chairs, whether it's like ASG exec, whether it's TED, whether it's anyone else in ASG and outside of ASG, never feel like hesitant to like reach out for help or just questions and guidance, because there are so many people with so much knowledge and resources at their disposal that they can share with you to help get projects done.
Can I add in with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think just piggybacking off what Theo was saying, I think you highlighted a really good point about your network within ASG, but also a network within or outside of ASG is just as important, if not more important. If you're not necessarily tapped in with the student body, you're not going to get the ideas. You won't have your finger on the pulse, right? You're not going to know what issues people really want taken care of. I think one of the biggest things that I realized by my maybe junior year is that you can't expect people to come to you, right? They're not going to know, like as cool as it is to sit at this table and it's like cool to have your name as a senator, a lot of people really don't care or don't even know about ASG, right? They don't know where to go to get these issues fixed. It is part of your job to be that person to let people know that, hey, I'm in a position to be able to help you out with this. Sometimes people don't even know that certain issues can be fixed, like dining. People are like, oh, yada 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 about dining, but it's never gonna get fixed because there's no way to do it. And it's like, dude, if we talked, we could like make that happen. So what that means is like, if you guys are living on campus, talk to people. If you guys are not even like off campus, at a party, talk to people. Make sure people know who you are in terms of like establishing a relationship, because one, you'll never know when you need that relationship later down the road. Two, that allows those ideas to more easily flow to you. So many times throughout my junior and senior year when I felt like I had built enough of those relationships, I felt like I had to do less work going to people, and those ideas and projects were just coming to me with someone who's a friend of someone who knew through a friend that I was on student government. So that's huge. That network is so huge.
Yeah, totally. Does anyone have any questions? Could be specific, could be general, anything. And also could be like our first year student, please ask questions, and non-senators too. Anything. Yeah.
What made you guys like originally like try to campaign for or try to run for Senate when you guys first started running?
I can go. Yeah, so like I mentioned, I ran in October 2020. So if you know anything about that time, it was kind of right in the peak of COVID when my class was completely online and none of us had met each other in person, and we didn't have an orientation, we didn't get to live on campus, everything was virtual. And so I felt personally really disconnected from campus, and I knew that there was an opportunity to help fix that issue, and I thought that ASG would be the absolute best way to do that. And so I saw ASG as just a really great platform for any projects that I might see as fit for something that I would like to work on throughout my time in college. ASG would kind of fit that mold for me. So I guess initially it was the drive to want to help connect people to the campus and get to know other students, even if it was going to be virtually. And then from there, I continued to feel motivated to run for different positions because I felt like there was more work to be done, and this was an incredible opportunity to be able to talk to admin, and it was kind of the most like front-facing role in the most back-end way, and I don't know if that makes sense, but you might be the face of a specific issue on campus, but I think you're doing a lot of background work to get that work done. And so I think overall for me, it was just about it being such a broad position that I knew that if I had anyone who brought up any issues to me, this would be a good opportunity to help solve that issue.
For me, I worked in politics all throughout high school, at the local level, at the state level, and at the federal level as well. So I knew that I had a passion for advocacy and politics. I came in as a poli-sci major at Santa Clara, so I was looking to get involved in a way that would further that passion. I think looking back, I thought that I was going to graduate from Santa Clara, get a degree in poli-sci, go to law school, and become a politician, because I felt like that was, for whatever reason, the only way to make an impactful change on society. I came to Santa Clara and I realized that I was so naive and that there's so many other ways to make an impact in ways that are not, the traditional go into politics, that type of route. So I ran at the end of my freshman year, so the end of my Zoom journey, I guess, or our Zoom journey. Came to campus, so I was a sophomore senator my sophomore year. It was just by luck that my dorm placement was on an athlete wing within Graham. So I became like best friends with a lot of the men's and women's basketball players, and that really led me to look into athletics. I had a lifelong passion for sports in general, but I felt like there was an opportunity opening up for me for those two things to converge, for my lifelong fandom in sports, but also a representation aspect where I could advocate for individuals that I cared about, who were my friends. So my junior and senior year, I was the athletic relations senator. So that was huge for me because that changed my trajectory of my life. I don't necessarily want to go into politics anymore. I want to work as a sports and entertainment lawyer. I want to be able to advocate for individuals at a professional level who are playing sports to make sure they're getting a fair compensation. So it dramatically changed my life, and expected like things are not necessarily going to go the way you plan it to, and that's completely fine. Embrace whatever comes towards you with open arms. That'd be my advice.
For me, I ran for first year senator like 5 weeks into, I think it was like middle of October. It was like right in the beginning of fall when first year elections happened. But one thing that I noticed at Santa Clara, and I don't know if it's still the same way, is that I felt like there was kind of multiple like parts of campus that were pretty disconnected from one another in terms of like socially speaking. Like I felt like different like types of organizations kind of stuck together and were isolated from one another. And I felt like I had a good pulse on like kind of having friends in each of those different like kind of groups. And so I felt like I could kind of best represent just kind of a broader like coalition of students. And so that's kind of what like first like got me into ASG. And then I guess the reason why I stayed in it is just seeing like all the work that people were doing and like, again, like just keeping faith with like what I was doing was like helping the broader Santa Clara community and not getting like discouraged from all the setbacks that I faced and the students faced while I was there with COVID and everything. But yeah, I would say that's why I originally joined ASG.
Nice to see you guys again in this space, and nice to meet you, Theo. I guess I kind of want to know, like, you know, like, after you graduated, what was something that you were like, okay, I wish ASG would continue this, or I wish ASG would do this now that, like, I'm not in this position to continue this work, or to start something that maybe you saw, like, towards the end of grad that you would like us to continue. So I guess, like, what is that? How can we continue your legacy and your efforts?
That's a great question. I absolutely think that that's important to consider as we are looking, you know, hindsight is 2020. So it's good to think in that perspective. For me, it's absolutely that all of you, every single time you learn something, write it down. Like, create some sort of document or note on your phone or something of just like every single thing that you learn in your role, and have it kind of just as a way to create sort of like a, I don't know how to describe it, but I think when you're in this role, right, and you're learning things, you come in as a student at Santa Clara who has no knowledge of the background of how things work, and over time, in your time at ASG, you start to learn those things, and I think if you're looking back at the end of the academic year saying, okay, let me list off all the things that I learned over the course of the year, it's going to be a lot harder to think of every single lesson that you learned, versus if, let's say, you have a conversation with someone, let's say you have a meeting with your admin buddy, and then they bring up a fact that you had no idea about Santa Clara. Just write it down. You know, have a note of stuff that you learned over your time at Santa Clara. I think one of the biggest flaws that I've seen over the course of my 4 years in ASG is kind of the 4-year drop off of, like, for example, you know, all 3 of us were in ASG for 4 years and learned a lot about ASG and Santa Clara, and have a lot of background that's just kind of sitting in our heads now, but that kind of gets lost when we go and graduate, and so having a document that has it all listed out is really, really helpful for your successor. And I worked really hard personally on this sort of onboarding guide last year, and I know that was a really big initiative on behalf of a lot of people within ASG last year, to ensure that our successors had some sort of guide as to what that specific role in ASG is like, and what you might be working on within that role, and what lessons they learned.
But to be completely honest, I wish over my 2 years as vice president that I had written things down in real time, because I think I would have gotten even more things that I could have provided advice on, and even my other roles as well as first year and sophomore senator. So yeah, that's my piece of advice.
I think my answer would be twofold, and it's more so on an organizational level. I think one, internal cohesion is extremely important. I remember the first time that I sat at this table as a sophomore, and I did not say anything for almost the entirety of sophomore year. It was because it was so intimidating to talk at this big table with individuals who are older than me and a lot more experience at this than me, right? Had there been a little bit more internal cohesion in terms of, like, what that looks like is like, and a concerted effort to let people get to know each other and mix, and both in an ASU setting but outside of an ASU setting. And I say outside of an ASU setting is so much more important because that translates to that internal. If you get to know someone on a friend-to-friend basis, it's fun. Got to know you as a person. I think that helps me in here because I have a better relationship. I know who you are. I know what you can bring to the table. So if you're able to do that on a whole organizational level, that helps a lot. That helps in terms of, especially when you're a freshman center, when you're coming in, that learning curve is huge. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's coming, but it's fine because Claire and the rest of ASG has worked so hard in terms of doing a lot of this onboarding stuff, like Jenna was saying, to make your lives a lot easier. So that cohesion part is important. The second thing I would say is accountability. And this is something that I felt like Jenna and Lily did a really good job of in terms of holding senators accountable for what they're here to do, right? Like I was saying, there's a lot of times when people show up just to meetings, don't do anything, and they leave. They're not getting anything out of ASG. If anything, honestly, I wouldn't respect those people as much because they're taking up a position that someone else could have and do a killer job at. But a lot of it is from the top, and also from making sure that you guys are holding each other accountable. So if you're SAC chair, right, making sure that you're checking in with all these people to make sure, or your senators and your committee to make sure that they have goals outlined and they're also following up. That part is so huge because the last thing you want and a big kind of stain on ASU was that they don't do anything, right? They're not responsive to issues. And it's like, yeah, you guys are, like, part of it is you guys are doing work because it's not being marketed enough or students just don't care about it enough. Or the second thing is people aren't actually doing anything. There are issues that people are like screaming at you. So yeah.
One thing I thought was like super helpful was towards the end of my time in ASG, it was in my senior year, we started doing town halls, and I felt like that was something that was like extremely beneficial because I think there's a lot of work that is not unnecessary or unimportant, but I think a lot of the times, like, I noticed during ASG, like, people kind of got caught up in doing projects that were always necessary and were also stuff that, like, the students necessarily weren't asking for. And so one thing I thought was super helpful was the town halls to really highlight students' concerns, because that was a time for them to come, share their concerns, and a lot of the concerns we saw, like, were repeated across all different types of students. And so I think really just getting a good pulse and making sure you're doing projects that students are actually wanting ASG to work on, because at the end of the day, like, you guys are working for the student body. And so really just kind of focusing your efforts on things that students actually want to see get done.
Well, thank you all for coming again. I really appreciate it. It's like the first time doing the same thing, so yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you both. It's good to see you.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck, guys.
Moving right along. Okay, so we have our first names here. I'm going to invite you to the front. And we're just going to swear you in. So, yeah, we're not, you know. We're not voting on your confirmation or anything like that, but if you want to go up there and just tell us maybe a little bit about yourself, what made you want to join ASG, what you're majoring in,
Okay, so my name's Liz, and what made me want to join ASG is that I've always kind of been interested in law and politics my whole entire life. I was a debate kid in high school. I was the team captain of my debate team, and I worked with a few political organizations in high school. I interned for a law firm that I still intern at. So I'm very much into law and politics. So I'm very excited to join ASG because I want to kind of work more with the government type of realm. And then let's see. I'm from Sunnyvale, California. I don't know if I already mentioned that, but yeah, I'm from Sunnyvale, so the city right next door to Santa Clara. So I'm pretty local. And then I'm majoring in poli-sci on the pre-law track, and I might double major with music, but we'll see.
Hi guys, I'm Sonia. I decided to join ASG because I wanted to kind of connect more with students, freshmen specifically. And I also, when I was a child, I really wanted to be a lawyer. That has kind of shifted now, but a part of me still does. I'm majoring in finance right now. I want to add CS as a double major. I like running, banking, karaoke. Yeah. Karaoke competitions get crazy. And I'm from San Jose.
I'm Tiago. I joined ASG because I've had a lot of experience in student government like Liz and other activism work, and I'm really just passionate about advocacy style stuff. I know that I am capable of pursuing projects. I love creating new projects. I love working with other people to work on issues that matter to me and that matter to others as well. And I was lucky enough to get to interact with a few people in ASG in my first few weeks here. And because of that, I became really interested in joining. I am double majoring in political science and psychology on the pre-law track. I'm from Portland, and I really love going on hikes, especially when it's just rain.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Jacob. I'm a biology major on the pre-med track. I'm also planning on minoring in political science, economics, and public health. I'm from the Sacramento area, Granite Bay, if you know who that is, kind of towards Tahoe. I wanted to run for Senate because I just really wanted to get involved in our community, and I wanted to work with really a diverse group of people. I think Senate is a great platform for just getting to know a lot of different people and really making an impact on campus. In high school, I had the opportunity to serve in leadership on more of an organization level, but here it's really that kind of higher governance level of those organizations. I think my experience there, and then this is kind of the next step in that evolution as well. And I've been in politics and stuff like that too. This kind of was a logical thing for me to be a part of it and make it a part of my college experience. So.
Okay, great. I'm going to swear you guys all in. So all of you raise your right hands and repeat after me. I, please state your names.
I, Tiago.
Do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution and bylaws.
Do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution and bylaws
of the Associated Student Government
of the Associated Student Government
of Santa Clara University.
of Santa Clara University.
Congrats.
We have 2 spots there and 2 spots there. I kind of organized it that you guys would be next to people who can answer any questions that you have. So, yeah. Okay. I'm really excited to have you guys here again. I just cannot really more confidence. Yeah. Okay. Okay, approval of today's agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second. Whoa, I didn't finish. Motion from Grace, second from Tara. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, so a little context. Motion is like initiating something. So like Grace initiated the motion to approve, and then a lot of motions need a second. So that's what Tara did. And then the aye and the nay thing is like sort of, I guess, confirming what they
more of like a raise of awareness or maybe a more like impassioned comment you want to give to any member of campus. They don't necessarily have to have a call to action. That would be some of our other forms of policies. And so call it midway through spring quarter last year, myself, Tay, and Sarah got in contact with a Narcan research lab in the public health department and sort of talked about the points of access on our campus, the stigma around Narcan, carrying it, administering it, and we came to the conclusion that the best way for ASG to support would be in the format of an open letter. So the open letter is specifically addressed to students. This could have been formatted to be to the Office of Student Life, Board of Residence Life. We felt like we wanted to have more of an administrative form of communication, but we decided to cater this to students to really break down the stigma that a lot of students have around Narcan. And so like that opening paragraph is about the red zone. The red zone is the common reference to the fall semester of an academic year. Talking about Narcan, some of its uses. The further you scroll down on the second page, there are the points of access on our campus, the signs of potential overdose, and how to administer Narcan. So yeah, it's a pretty short open letter, pretty easy to digest. Thank you all for the comments you left. I think Charlie checked on Monday, it was like 120 or something like that. So I'm really grateful that you all took the time and care to look into this. For almost everybody's comment or suggestion, I replied to it before I resolved it, so you could see that we either added it, maybe I left a question, or left a reason if we didn't take the suggestion. One of the ones that most frequently got commented was people asking about including data from Santa Clara, like Santa Clara's instances of opioid overdose or instances of usage of Narcan, or having it be more of a tie to the university. That was going to be a hard no, mostly because A, it's a possible HIPAA violation, it's such a small campus, and there's such little data that the university has on collection that any mention of a university-specific instance is just going to endanger the student's privacy. And so I feel like the letter kind of stands on its own, and I would hope that students would connect to it just based on the message itself. So yeah, I don't know if anyone has any questions left or anything. I said it last week, and if you weren't here last week, I'll say it again. I hope you vote on it, but if you do vote on it, I also expect that you carry Narcan, that you have some in your room, that you practice what the letter preaches. So, thanks.
Any questions? Even just clarifying questions, first years, any points of confusion? Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, just to continue to give some overview of open letters. Something that's in our bylaws for when an open letter passes is at the discretion of the document author. So it gets partnered with a social media post on the ASU Instagram. That's something that myself, Tay, and Sarah do feel very strongly that should the open letter pass, we want to do that. We want this to be a continued project. And so I also have some other points that I intend on taking the project in, and we've already been collaborating with some other senators on that. So this isn't a one and done by any means. Even if once the quote-unquote red zone concludes, this is still something that's really important to continue these conversations. My personal next tackle is I really would love to have Narcan in every community facilitator and neighborhood representative's house or bedroom. I'd like it to be a required carry for Res Life staff, just because I think that will be the best point of access, especially for underclassmen who are at the highest risk of opioid overdose, at least on our campus. So that's where I'm going with this.
Erica, Bailey, and Ryan, what is the, we talked about it at exec on Monday, but what's the procedure for them deciding when they want to send it out and actually that's.
I think it's in the, am I invited?
Yeah.
I think it's in the, where the bylaw change was made for the open letter. I think it's a little form, a piece where it says how you can request for it to be sent out. And I'm pretty sure the president sends it out, but we can check Bailey can check.
Yeah. Okay. Usually the president sends it out, so I'll be sending it out to the y'all have done a beautiful job of this. I read over it again. Like, it's very good with the comments you guys responded, and this is like hugely polished. I had a question regarding one of the comments I made. I know you mentioned that you guys would add a map via social media. Can I ask if there was any reason you guys decided not to add a map to this specific document if you were to be reading this?
Yeah, I can answer that. So that is actually a part of what I'll be talking with Ryan about should this letter pass, because the preference of me, Sarah, and Tay is for this to be like the body of an email and not a document that someone clicks on. And so if that were to go through, then I would include like a map as an attachment. But other than that, like, I mean, I feel like it's pretty, we're a pretty small campus. Like, I didn't feel very strongly that if someone read Benson Memorial Center, they wouldn't know where that was. But it's definitely included on social media, and if I'm able to structure it in the email how our team had intended to, then it would be included as an attachment on the email.
Other things?
Second.
Motion made by the second from Gabby. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, now voting on SR2. We're going to do a roll call vote. So when your name is called, please say yes or aye or yay or whatever, and then you can abstain or no, nay, no, whatever.
Okay. Starting with our first years, Liz. Yay. Sonia. Tiago. Yes. Jacob.
Yay.
Okay. Allison. Tara. Yes. Herb.
C.
What? Oh, okay. Gabby.
Yes.
Iman. Yes. Carmen.
Yes.
Arne. Yes. Tay.
Yay.
Grace.
Yay.
No, you're not there. Mercedes.
Yes.
Charlie.
Yes.
Liv.
Yes.
And Amika.
Yay.
Yay.
Passed. Again, really great job. It's fantastic. I know you guys have been working on this for a while, so I'm excited to see the next step. So yeah, thank you all. Of course. All right. Moving on to our new business. Okay, guys, we have a Senate confirmation. Okay, Leah, do you want to come to the front? And you can introduce yourself. You can talk about ideas you have, why you want to join the Senate, anything like that. Leo, you might remember, some of you might remember, he was Edge's proxy last fall. So he's been here before, but yeah. he's
Yeah.
back.
Hi y'all, I'm Leo Morris. I'm a mechanical engineering major here at Santa Clara. I'm double minoring. I wanted to be a part of ASGs because when I was there as proxy, my class schedule didn't really allow me to be super involved, and so this kind of gives me that opportunity. I don't have a lot of ideas as of right now. I've sent out a couple emails to my professors and I've talked with a couple friends, and so I'm waiting to hear back from them. And obviously, if you all have projects that you all are working on, I'd love to hear about them. I'd love to get involved. So yeah, just let me know.
Any questions for Leo? Okay, in that case, can I have someone escort? Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Any questions for me about these? I probably listed was seniors. Oh, seniors. Yeah. Yeah.
me. I, please state your name.
I, Leo Morris,
Do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution and bylaws
do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution and bylaws
of the Associated Student Government
of the Associate Student Government
of Santa Clara University.
of Santa Clara University.
Congrats.
Thank you.
So excited. Okay, moving on, I think we have a branch confirmation, judicial confirmation. So I'll invite,
Evan.
Evan, I'll invite Evan to, and just talk about, again, kind of same thing, why you wanted to join the issue, specifically judicial branch.
Yeah, sure. My name is Evan O'Driscoll. I'm from San Francisco, and I'm a freshman in business school. I wanted to join ASG because I come from a Jesuit high school where it's really sort of like Santa Clara. It's really instilled in us values of service, especially in the community. And although I'm not a political science major, I've always been really interested in people's politics. I really enjoy reading through nerdy things like bylaws and things like that. So I'm really excited to work on that for the judicial branch. And I felt like this was the best way to intersect those two interests.
Any questions for Evan?
What position are you running for?
Associate Justice.
Any questions?
What are your plans with the role?
Honestly, since I'm a freshman, I'm willing to take lead from other members. I'm really excited to be working with a lot of the sophomores in our class. And my plans are to be as involved as possible and sort of try to get my voice out there as much as I can.
Other questions? Questions for me? How many people applied and why did you select them?
So I know it confirmed for people last week, it was part of the same process. So again, it was 11 people applied, I interviewed 10 for 5 positions. 4 associate justices, 1 court clerk. And like I talked a little bit about last week, I was really looking for thoughtful people who were considerate about issues, who seemed like they were intellectually curious, and who were personable and eager to work. And Evan really stuck out as someone who was really seems passionate about the issues, seemed really interested in being involved, and seemed really thoughtful about how to approach difficult problems. And so it was really a pretty straightforward choice.
Any questions?
Second.
Motion to approve? Okay, motion from Levon, second from.
It was not Ted, I promise.
Okay, thank you. Second from Amika. All those in favor of voting, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Okay, now voting on Evan's confirmation. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. And he's confirmed.
All right, let's swear you in. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, please state your name,
I, Evan O'Driscoll,
do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution and bylaws
do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution and bylaws
of the Associated Student Government
of the Associated Student Government
of Santa Clara University.
of Santa Clara University.
Congrats.
Moving on to SR3. Tay, take it away. Talk about whatever you want, actually.
So I guess to preface this open letter, the experiences that disabled students have at Santa Clara are extremely different than non-disabled students, and it's extremely frustrating, and it's been something that's been intertwined with SU's culture significantly over time, and it's just becoming increasingly more of like glaring problem. And whether or not it's facing discrimination, threats, accessibility issues, faculty not following their legal obligations, disabled students have difficulty every single day showing up. Yeah, that's what I'll say about that. And this letter was mainly to address all of that and all of the not all of the problems, but the main issue and the underlying ableism that is so highly integrated with SU's climate and culture. And this isn't any statistics. This isn't to like go into the statistical data of like Title IX reports. This is to like holistically represent what we are fighting for.
Any initial questions? Obviously, we'll be visiting this
Who is this being addressed to? All members in the Santa Clara community. So that includes students, staff, and faculty.
And what's the goal of the open? Does it have a action to follow?
So open letters aren't like a call to action. This is like highlighting the issue and making it more aware and like making it aware to administration as well. And then I'm hoping to continue on with that later following resolution. That's what.
That was going to be my question, is if like awareness followed by like social, yeah, that's awesome. Cool. I love that. Other questions? Obviously this is, oh yeah.
I just want to ask, have you spoken to a lot of people and people with anecdotes or stories about their troubles, or just wanted to know about it?
Yeah, so as I'm in a DSU, sorry, back there. Shout out to Dylan. I speak with a lot of disabled students as well as faculty, and I hear so many different stories every single day, no matter what space I'm in, because people know that I'm on the board of DSU, they tell me their issues, and there have been multiple hate incidents within like the first 2 weeks of school alone. So
You mentioned that you wanted to have a follow-up to distance-based action. Is there something in the works already for that?
not currently, because the first focus is the open letter to address awareness, and then following that would be hopeful collaboration to write a resolution.
Any questions? Are you wanting to have like a social media component to this too? Okay, that's totally questions, comments?
Is it sort of intentional, just to sort of like omit like statistics and like data and links and stuff, or can I just ask what's like the driver behind that?
So links and statistics wouldn't necessarily highlight the culture of Santa Clara, because this is aimed at the culture and the underlying climate behind SEU's ableism, rather than to compare it to other schools.
Can I just add, you can't quantify lived experiences, like, there might be like one incident, but that incident to one person is their entire world. So you can't really like,
which date?
Preferably by Monday.
Okay, cool, okay. Yeah, so like Tage said, please leave comments, suggestions, questions, anything like that on the document by Monday, Tuesday, beginning of the week basically, just so that she has time to go through and address them. Just basically what we did with Grace's letter. So, yeah, again, this is part of all of our jobs. And I think if we really another thing is if you engage with the document like this more thoroughly and you actively make comments and things like that, you're going to know more about the issue, which is important because we're student government, and so it's essential that we know what's going on campus, and that we're able to answer questions that people may have. So yeah, even if Tay can't be everywhere at once, and so it's everyone's job to be able to ask questions and to address these types of issues when they're brought up. And so yeah, I expect at least 121 comments on this document. So yeah, again, I'll be sending a recap email tomorrow. So let's just yeah, when you have the time, read it through. Obviously, I get it, it's midterms. This isn't a massive thing, and it's really not. So, yeah, I would just really appreciate it if everyone engaged with it. Any other comments, concerns? Awesome, okay, thanks guys. Moving along. Okay, we just have announcements. Okay, a couple of things. Let's get my thoughts straight. I'll be in the office tomorrow afternoon, probably 1 to 3-ish. So, especially for first years, if you guys have any questions, I'll be in there. Feel free to stop by. Same goes for anyone else. Another big thing is I'll be sending out times for one-on-one meetings. They're not going to take long. I would say roughly 15 minutes per person. The goal is just for me to know more about you as people and how I can better support you and make sure that I'm just checking in with you all regularly on a personal level. So yeah, that's really the goal. I'm not going to be hounding you. I just want to make sure that I'm doing my job honestly and supporting all of you and making sure that nobody else would let me off. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. I think the last thing is just congratulations to first years. Again, super excited. This is another thing. The knocking is kind of another thing that we do. It's just if someone says something that resonates with you or you like or anything like that, you just knock it. So that's what that is. So yeah, super excited, super happy that you all are here. It was a competitive election, so you guys really earned it, and I'm excited to see that everything that you do. So yeah.
Can I just add a common suggestion and advice for all of you? Please don't be discouraged to be the only one who votes yes or no to something. We really value what you bring to the table, and that's what you were chosen for. Sometimes it can be intimidating, especially if it's your first experience with ASG. It can be intimidating too, if you see everyone voting yes or no on something that you might have an opposite decision. Please stick to that, because I think as an organization, we value more you as an individual sticking to your own values and morals instead of just going with what the rest of each other say.
Yeah, completely second that. We don't come here to just, all think the same things and agree on everything all the time. So that's great. Thank you for saying that. Is it wrong to do more? Yeah.
If you guys are gonna be not present in Senate and all call, you need to send separate messages to me and Claire or me, Sarah, and Ryan, because I have no idea if, for example, you're gonna miss all Senate, or if you're gonna do Senate but not all-call. And some of you have already reached the 2 absences limit, so I will be reaching out for that. So just make sure to let me know. If you have an issue, I will be understanding, but if you're not texting me, that's just doesn't look good to me and the rest of exec, so, yeah.
Is the form not, you don't have access to the form? Okay.
The form is only for Senate, so for all calls, you reach out to me, Ryan, or Sarah directly, because I don't want to make the form because I feel like you have to find the form, whereas this way I can also be more like not face-to-face, but like I can reach out to you quicker and be more understanding of whatever issue you have. Yeah.
CSC got some not so amazing news that this man, William Jacobson, who is a lawyer from Rhode Island with the Equal Protection Project, is suing the Santa Clara Black Corporate Board Readiness Program, which I'm not in, and I'm not in, I don't know anybody in, but it's definitely an important part of somebody's life on campus. And I don't know, I feel like so often, like, in the news, on campus, like, I don't know, like affirmative action, people think that we've kind of reached the level that we wanted to, but I just wanted to kind of make everyone aware that we have not, like, he says that he's suing on the basis of racial discrimination because only black students are so I just wanted to make everyone aware.
Program. So it's a graduate program that's basically for Black senior executives or like possible vice presidents to like have like a mentorship program. And it's been on our campus for a little while now. It's like been a super successful program. Obviously Silicon Valley is like a really cutthroat world, and it's built on like really racist attitudes in the business world and the tech world. And so like the university having this program was a really big deal. And now it being threatened, even if the complaint doesn't turn into a lawsuit, like it's a really, for any like law nerds in the world, it's a pretty lame lawsuit to try and take on. But the media blitz around it is honestly like what's more concerning. And for Black prospective students, like that's when it's going to hit the undergraduate students, and like that's the concern that Liv was bringing up. And also like, you know, worst case scenario, the university runs scared, and then this program gets hurt, and that's really impacting people's lives. But yeah, just a little bit of context of what the program is.
I don't know, it's like less about the actual program for undergrads and more about what it represents, like at Santa Clara. And the university hasn't done anything to propose improving itself. Like, it's not like in response to the university that it's all about the Equal Protection Project, but like Black students will start to lose trust, and students of all races will start to lose trust in the institution if they don't fight just as hard for like this program to like have. Does that make sense? Like if it's not like it will just like kind of knock the wind out of students' father.
To echo both of them, this is information that has not been brought to the student body by administration as at large, and I think that's also an issue that should be very time sensitive.
I think just regarding this, but also issues going forward, I think we should talk, speaking from like the NCC perspective, I think there's a lot that needs to be done. So, yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry to switch it up, but next week is all calm. So this means that all CSO leaders from all CSOs will be here. They will share their updates, their goals, and any questions they have for you. So as Claire said, I know that it's Halloween, but we'll try to make it really quick. And you guys will be in your costumes, which is fun. So please be there. Obviously, they're taking also time out of their day to be here for us. So it's just respectful.
yeah, again, it's important that you all are here, even though it's Halloween. I will try to, I've been purposefully not scheduling guest speakers for this next week. We have Tay's project, which is very important, that I think we all need to focus on. But I promise that I won't add anything else that could be done differently. So, yes, please be here. And if you have an issue, just let me know. Yeah.
Second.
Jeez. Motion from Tara, second from Herb. Okay. All those in favor say aye.